Chapter 5, Human Resources. Now, what are human resources? Human resources refers to the people who make up an organization's workforce and the department that manages them. Okay. Now, humans are the most valuable asset, the most nation's greatest resource. How? Because they have that ability, that skill to convert the natural resources into usable goods and services. That is why they are considered in the first line. If we see, people are nature's greatest resource. That is why they are considered greatest resource. Now, nature's bounty. What is nature's bounty? The abundant gifts our nature has given us, like the clean air and water. So, nature's bounty becomes significant only when people find it useful. It is people with their demands and abilities that turn them into resources. Hence, human resource is the ultimate resource. Healthy, educated, and motivated people develop resources as per their requirements. Now, human resources, like other resources, are not equally distributed over the world. Now, if we'll talk about air, about water, these are equally distributed over the earth, but human resources are not equally distributed. Means you will not find equally talented, equally skilled people everywhere. Somewhere there will be more skilled people, somewhere there will be less skilled people, somewhere there will be more educated people, somewhere you will find less educated people. Okay, so these are not evenly distributed over the earth. Now they differ in the educational levels. The humans differ in the educational levels, their age and sex. Okay, now their numbers and characteristics also keep on changing. Now if we'll talk about this picture here, everyone is talking about, like they are telling, this boy is telling in the yellow kurta that my village has 1000 people. Then this girl is telling that there are 500 children in my class. Then this boy is telling that there are 30 children in my class. Then the teacher is asking, how many people do you think there are in the whole world? So this boy answers around 6.6 billion. Okay. So this picture depicts this much. Now let us read this do you know box on the left hand side. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana (PKVY) was started in 2015, aiming to train 1 crore Indian youth from 2016 to 2020. The objective of this scheme is to encourage aptitude towards employable skills by giving quality training to probable and existing wage earners. Now, this program aims at training the people, making them more useful and more educated. Okay. Now the next topic, distribution of population. How population is distributed. So the way in which the people are spread across the earth surface is known as a pattern of population distribution. So what is known as a pattern of population distribution? The way in which people are spread across the earth's surface. Okay. Now more than 90% of the world's population lives in about 30% of the land surface. The distribution of population in the world is extremely uneven. Okay. Now, some areas are very crowded, some are sparsely populated. So, this unevenness, it depends on many factors. Okay. On the basis of population, on the basis of education, in some states you will find more men than women, more boys than girls, and in some states you will find more girls than boys, right? So, there are many factors. Then the crowded areas are South and Southeast Asia, Europe, and Northeastern North America. Okay. Now, very few people live in high latitude areas, tropical deserts, high mountains, and areas of equatorial forests because there the conditions to live here are difficult. Okay. Now, many more people live north of the equator than south of the equator. Almost three quarters of the world's people live in two continents, Asia and Africa. So, almost three quarters of the world, right? Three-fourths of the world's people live in two continents, which is Asia and Africa. So, most of the population you will find in Asia. India is also in Asia. Now, 60% of the world's people stay in just 10 countries. Okay. All of them have more than 100 million people. Right? Now, see here. Population in millions. Now, let's start with the highest and then we'll come to the lowest. So, here from down, we'll start with the highest. So, China has the highest population, around 1300 something million people, right? Then India, then comes USA, after India then comes Indonesia, then Brazil, then Pakistan, then Bangladesh, then Nigeria, then Russia, Federation, and then Japan. Okay, so these are 10 countries where most of the people stay. So 60% of the world's people stay in just 10 countries. Now see here. World's population by continents. Now see. You can see by yellow, you can see people live in Asia. So most of the people they live in Asia. Then here in orange, you can see most of the people here now they are living in Europe. They live in Africa. Then the blue ones live in Central and South America. Then the red ones live in Northern America. And see here, live in Oceania means in Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Island. Only one out of so many people, only one, right? So here in this continent probably there is very less population. Okay. Now distribution of population in detail. Now see there are many factors which affect the population distribution. Like we have studied here that the most of the people they live here in South and Southeast Asia, Europe, and Northeastern North America. Why? Because the topography, the topography here is suitable for the people. The climatic conditions, then mainly there are plains, right, which is very suitable for agriculture. Then mode of transport is also very good in plain areas. Okay. Then access to water, and then access to minerals also is very important. Okay, so that is why the people they prefer to live here than the people who live in desert areas, because in desert areas you will not find the topography that much suitable. Okay, now let's come to the next topic, density of population. Now population density is the number of people living in a unit area of the earth's surface. What is population density? Population density is the number of people living in a unit area of the earth's surface. It is normally expressed as per square kilometer. The average density of population in the whole world is 51 persons per square kilometer. Okay. South Central Asia has the highest density of population, followed by East and Southeast Asia. Now, let's read this do you know box on the left hand side. Average density of population in India is 382 persons per square kilometer. Now see these two friends they are talking. This friend is saying when all the 30 students are present, our classroom seems very crowded. But when the same class is seated in the school assembly hall, it seems so open and empty. Why? Then this girl is answering because the size or area of the hall is much larger than that of the classroom. Now, if we compare, obviously the size of the classroom is much less than that of a hall. However, when all the students of the school come into the hall too starts looking crowded. Okay. When one class is coming, it will look empty, but when whole school assembles there, it looks crowded. Now, the factors affecting distribution of population. Now, there are geographical factors. So, first is topography. Now, people always prefer to live on plains rather than mountains and plateaus because these areas are the plains are suitable for farming, manufacturing, and service activities. Okay. Then the mode of transport is also very significant here. You will find everything easily. Mode of transport like all transports, land, water, air are available here. What as well. Then the Ganga plains are the most densely populated areas of the world, while mountains like Andes, Alps, and Himalayas are sparsely populated. Okay. The next factor will be climate. So people usually avoid extreme climates that are very hot or very cold, like the Sahara Desert, polar regions of the Russia, Canada, and Antarctica. Then soil. The fertile soils provide suitable land for agriculture. So fertile plains such as Ganga and Brahmaputra in India, then Huanghe, Changjiang in China, and the Nile in Egypt are densely populated. Okay. Then water. People prefer to live in the areas where fresh water is easily available. The river valleys of the world are densely populated while deserts have sparse population. Okay. Now the areas where there is enough water to survive, you will find more population there only. Then minerals. Areas with mineral deposits are more populated. Diamond mines of South Africa and discovery of oil in the Middle East led to the settling of people in these areas. Now, why the people settled here? Because the rise of employment generated here, right? So the people started living here. Now, the next factor. Earlier, we have studied the factors affecting a geographical factors. All these were geographical factors. Now, they are social, cultural, and economic factors. So, social factors. Areas of better housing, education, and health facilities are more densely populated. Example Pune. Okay. So, in Pune, you will find better housing and healthcare facilities. Then the next topic, cultural significance. Now, if we talk about cultural significance, so places like with religion or cultural significance attract people. So, Varanasi, Jerusalem, and Vatican City are some examples. Okay, so culture in India, if we'll talk about cultural significance, it's Varanasi. Then economic factors, where the people can earn, right? So, industrial areas provide employment opportunities. Large number of people are attracted to these areas. So Osaka in Japan and Mumbai in India are two densely populated areas. Now let's read this glossary on the right hand side. What is life expectancy? So life expectancy is the number of years that an average person can expect to live. Now population change. Now population change refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time. Okay. The world population has not been stable. It has increased manifold as seen in this figure. Now, so let's read this. See, in 500 BC, there were 100 million people, right? Then here 170 million, then 265 million, then 1500, 425 million, then 1800, 900 million, then 1900, 1625 million. Then see here, significantly it's increasing now. If we'll talk about 1999, you will find 600 million people. If we talk about 2025, you will find 8525 million people. So the population has increased many-fold from the last years, right? Now why? Why it is so? So this is actually due to changes in the number of births and deaths. For an extremely long period of human history until the 1800s, the world's population grew steadily but slowly. Large number of babies were born, but they died early too. This was as there were no proper health facilities, right? The sufficient food was not available for all the people. Farmers were also not able to produce enough to meet the food requirements of all the people. As a result, the total increase in population was very low. Now, as the technological advancements happen in every field, right? So now the population has also increased because people have many ways to live longer. Many they have better health facilities, they have education facilities, the food is available to all, right? That is why. So in 1804, the world's population reached 1 billion. 150 years later, in 1959, the world's population reached 3 billion. Then this is often called population explosion. In 1999, 40 years later, the population doubled to 6 million. The main reason for this growth was that with better food supplies and medicine, deaths were reducing, while the number of births still remained fairly high. So babies are usually measured using the birth rate, that is, the number of live births per 1,000 people. So deaths are usually measured using the death rate, that is, the number of deaths per 1,000 people. Migration. Now, what is migration? Migration is the movement of people in and out of an area. So why do people migrate? People migrate in search of food, shelter, and work. Okay. So births and deaths are the natural causes of population change. Okay. The difference between the birth rate and the death rate of a country is called the natural growth rate. Now the population increase in the world is mainly due to rapid increase in natural growth rate. Because the growth rate increased, that is why the population increased. Now see here, balance of population. Birth rate more than death rate. Here you can see birth rate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and death rate only 2 people died and 5 people born, right? So population increased. Then here you can see three people born and three people died. So the population remains steady, right? Then population decreased. Only two people born and then five people died. So death rate more than the birth rate. So population decreases in this case. Now, what is migration? So, migration is another way by which population size changes. Migration in migration, people may move within a country or between countries. Immigrants. Who are immigrants? Immigrants are people who leave a country. Okay. Immigrants are those who arrive in a country. So, if you will go to another country, you're the immigrants there. Okay. So now the countries like the United States of America and Australia have gained in numbers by in-migration or immigration. Okay. Sudan is an example of a country that has experienced a loss in population numbers due to out-migration or emigration because the people they left this country, they left Sudan. That is why this is emigration. Now the people who left Sudan, the residents of that this country, those are known as immigrants. And these people they went to another country, so now there they are immigrants. Okay. Now the general trend of international migration is from the less developed nations to the more developed nations in search of better employment opportunities, right? So why the people leave their countries and go to other countries in search of better employment opportunities? Within countries, large number of people may move from the rural to urban areas in search of employment, education, and health facilities. Okay. Now let's read this glossary on the left hand side. Immigration when a person enters a new country, immigration when a person leaves a country. Now patterns of population change. Rates of population growth vary across the world. Okay. Now let's see the figure 5.5 here. See differing rates of population growth. Now see here with blue, here in blue you can see very high. This is very high. Then this skin color almost, this is high. Okay, then moderate ones. Then these are low ones and then decrease. Okay. So now let's come back to the paragraph. So although the world's total population is rising rapidly, not all countries are experiencing this growth. Okay. Some countries like Kenya have high population growth rates. They have both high birth rates and death rates. Now with improving healthcare, death rates have fallen but birth rates still remain high leading to high growth rates. In other countries like United Kingdom, population growth is slowing because of both low death and low birth rates. Okay. Now population composition. How crowded a country is has little to do with its level of economic development. Now where the factors, the resources to earn money are more, you will find more crowd there. Like Delhi NCR area, then Mumbai area, and the areas where are less avenues for money, there will be you will find less growth, less crowded areas. Okay. So for example, both Bangladesh and Japan are very densely populated, but Japan is far more economically developed than Bangladesh. To understand the role of people as a resource, we need to know more about their qualities. So people vary gently in their age, sex, literacy level, health condition, occupation and income level. It is essential to understand these characteristics of the people. Population composition refers to the structure of the population. Okay. Now see here, this figure. Think, every human being is a potential resource for the society. What will be your contribution as a human resource? Okay, now see here. Grandma is saying, I tell stories to my grandchildren. This engineer is saying, I build bridges. This this person is saying, he's a singer, I sing at weddings. This lady, I take care of my home. Then here, this is a doctor. I am researching for medicines to cure cancer. This is a farmer. He says, I am a farmer. Okay. Now, what will be your contribution as a human resource? So, as a human resource, my contribution is to to take care or to look after my family. And then here I am teaching you people, I am helping you people to excel in your studies. So this is my contribution as a human resource. Now the composition of the population help us to know how many people are male or female, which age group they belong to, how educated they are, and what type of occupations they are employed in, what the income levels and health conditions are. Now, an interesting way of studying the population composition of a country is by looking at the population pyramid, also called an eight sex pyramid. Okay. Now, see here. This is a pyramid. So here, if you will see 0 to 4 years age group, if we'll talk about, so you will find males. Then here you will find females. With red you will find female, and with blue you will find male, right? Now this broad base, it indicates young children where there is high birth rate, right? Because when people are born, they are children, right? So where it indicates high birth rate. Then here if you will see the narrow top, it suggests a high death rate. Okay, here see. So at 85 plus, you will find less number of male, less number of females. Okay. Then in 0 to 4 years, you will find maximum. Then 5 to 9, some is reduced, some number is reduced. Then 10 to 14, again some number is reduced. Now, with increasing age, so you will see the number is reducing. So this narrow top, it suggests a high death rate. Okay. Now, under 15, now here if you will see 15 to 19, it will show the high number of young people. And then if you will see here, you will see dependence. Right here you will see dependence. So this is reducing. In this category, you will see high number of people who are working age population. Okay. So this population pyramid, it depicts this. Okay. Now see here, if we will see these two people are these two friends, they are talking. What is this triangular looking diagram? This boy is saying, this girl is saying, this is population pyramid. Okay. Now the boy says, what is that? Girl says, it shows the present number of males and females in the country along with the age groups. Right. Now can I play detective and investigate the population of a country? Girl says, sure, let's study 3 countries. Now we'll see 3 countries. We'll study 3 countries. Okay. Now, the shape of population pyramid tells the story of the people living in that particular country. The number of children below 15 years, if we will talk about here, see here, the number of children below 15 years here are shown at the bottom, okay, and they reflect the level of births. Then the size of the top shows the number of aged people here, above 65 years, okay, and it reflects the number of deaths, okay. The population pyramid also tells us how many dependents are there in a country. Now there are 2 groups of dependents, young dependents which are aged below 15 years, then elderly dependents above 65 years. Now those of the working age are the economically active. Now working age means above 18 to 60 years. Now the population pyramid of a country in which birth and death rates both are high is broad at the base, right? Now is brought at the base where birth rate and death rate both are high, and then rapidly narrows towards the top. This is because although many children are born, a large percentage of them die in the infancy. Relatively few become adults, and there are few very old people. This situation is typified by the pyramid shown for Kenya. Okay, now see here. This is the pyramid of Kenya. Okay. Then here this is the pyramid of India. Okay. See here, if we'll see, we will find more people in Kenya in this age group 0 to 4. But in India it's comparatively less, right? Now in countries where death rates, especially among the very young, are decreasing, the pyramid is broad in the younger age groups because more infants survive to adulthood. This can be seen in the pyramid for India. Such populations contain a relatively large number of young people, and which means a strong and expanding labor force. In countries like Japan, low birth rates make the pyramid narrow at the base. See here. This is of Japan. So Low birth rates make it narrow at the base. See, it is narrow at the base here, right? The Japan one, because of low birth rates. Now, decreased death rates allow number of people to reach old age, right? Skilled, spirited, and hopeful young people endowed with a positive outlook are the future of any nation. We in India are fortunate to have such a resource. They must be educated and provided skills and opportunities to become able and productive. Now, here we come to the end of this chapter, and I will upload this exercise in the another video. Okay. Thank you.